Hello and welcome to HTML tutorials. In this session, we are going to discuss about HTML frames. HTML frames are used to divide your browser window into multiple sections where each section can load a separate HTML document. A collection of frames in the browser window is known as a frame set. The window is divided into frames. In a similar way, the tables are organized into rows and columns. But there are some disadvantages of frames. Let's talk about those disadvantages. Some smaller devices cannot cope with the frames often because their screen is not big enough to be divided up. These things happen with the mobile devices most of the times. Sometimes your page will be displayed differently on a different computer due to the different screen resolution. And the third disadvantage is the browser's back button might not work as the user hopes. And we have one more disadvantage. There are still few browsers that do not support the frame technology. So it is never recommended to use the frames in your web pages. But still, we are going to discuss about the frames for our knowledge purpose, even it is forbidden to do now. So let's talk about the creating frames. See an example here. To use frames on a page, we use frame set tag. I mean this one, frame set tag instead of body tag. The frame set tag defines how to divide the window into frames. The rows attribute of a frame set tag defines the horizontal frames, and columns attribute defines the vertical frames. Each frame is indicated by frame tag, and it defines which HTML document shall open into the frame. Let's try to display, like execute this code and see what. In this frame example, we opened a frame set tag here, and we are mentioning that one rows, like one row is divided into three parts here. One is 10%, the other one is 80%, and the other one is 10%, like completely 100%. The first 10% is on top, and 80% is in the middle, and 10% is in the bottom. So we have like three different sections here: top, main, and bottom. And we are saving this, and let us run this in Chrome. So this is how it looks like. Three different sections based on the percentage of like space we gave in the code. And here in body I wrote your browser does not support the frames, because if the browser is not supporting these frames, this will not execute. So you will get this message. When it supports, you will get the frames. If not, you will get this message as an output. In this example, we mentioned that in the rows, so this alignment is horizontal. So let us try one more example that deals with the vertical alignment. So this is the example 2. This deal with the vertical alignments. To get the vertical alignment in the frame set, I mentioned columns instead of rows. So the columns 25%, 50%, and 25%. Let's try this code and execute. So here is the code: frame set, columns 25%, 50%, 25%. So we are dividing this page into 3 different columns. So save this and run this in Chrome. Yes, you can see that it's divided into 3 different types, because in the code we mentioned some directories, HTML main and HTML top frame, so like, but they're not there. So you can see the error message here: the file directory could not be found. But still, the target is to divide the one page into 3 different parts. So we got it. And our next topic is HTML iframes. We can define an inline frame with a HTML tag called iframe. The iframe tag is not somehow related to the frameset tag. Instead, it can appear anywhere in your document. The iframe tag defines a rectangular region within the document in which the browser can display a separate document, including the scroll bar or borders. The src attribute is used to specify the URL of the document that occupies the inline frame. Let us see an example for the iframe. In this code, I opened an iframe here with a width of 560 pixels and height of 315 pixels, and I copied a URL, that is a YouTube video, and an embedded code, embedded link, and okay, let's try this and you'll understand it there. So this is the code part. It's a HTML iframe, and document content goes here, and iframe with width of 560 pixels and height of 315 pixels, and it is a YouTube embedded video link. And frame border, I don't have any frame border here, and this is how I got the code from the YouTube. And I'm saving this, and let us run this in Chrome. So here I got that video. This is how we put the the content using iframe. This is the easiest and effective way to put the videos or galleries or whatever you want, and you can control the size by mentioning like width and height here, and you can keep on pasting, you can fill your page with a lot of videos here. So this is the best example for iframes. Okay, let us talk about the iframe attributes. Most of the attributes of iframe tag include name, class, including name, class, frame border, ID, long text, and margin height, margin width, name, scrolling, style, and title behave exactly like the corresponding attributes for the, and like it's almost seen as like a frame tag. And let us see the iframe attributes available. Like the first one is src. This attribute is used to give the file name that should be loaded in the particular frame. The next one is the name. This attribute allows you to give the name to the frame. And the next one is the frame border. This attribute specifies whether or not the border of the frame are shown. Then the margin width. This attribute allows you to specify the width of the space between the left and right of the frame's border and the frame's content. And margin height. This attribute allows you to specify the height of the space between the top and the bottom of the frame's border and its content. The next attribute is node size. By default, you can resize any frame by clicking and dragging on the border of a frame. The node size attribute prevents a user from being able to resize the frame. And scrolling. This attribute controls the appearance of the scroll bars that appears on the frame. This takes values either yes or yes, no, or auto. And the last attribute of iframes is a long desk. This attribute allows you to provide a link to another page containing a long description of the contents of the frame. Okay, this is all about the frames and iframes. I hope you enjoyed the session today. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next session. Until then, bye bye.